Tell me all those dirty, dirty secrets. Tell me all your dirty little secrets. Tell me all your dirty little secrets.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, and you are on the Shovelhed podcast. Today, my guest is Kevin Beck from The Limit, Eagles Tribute, and Beck. I said that right?
Yep.
And Beck's Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And
Glory Days, Vero Beach as well. 6-piece kind of yacht rock band.
And Kevin Beck solo.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a fucking handful of stuff.
And I host the Florida East Jam as well.
Oh, where's that?
That's a Rosie's thing. It's
Bottoms up?
Bottoms Up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're busy. You're actually, what's funny is when I watch my surroundings because there's always business opportunities. A, B, you're always watching the people, your contemporaries and your surroundings because you need to know who's doing what.
Right.
How do I incorporate that into my business plan? Because as much as we want to look at this whole situation of music as being the passion and the art, you can't do it unless there's fucking finances coming in.
And that's why I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Because I try to keep a project that's good for every amount of what people can afford.
Yeah.
Know? So it's like the solo, I can make it affordable for people. And I even break it down per set. If you can't afford me for a whole night, I'll do 2 sets.
Right, right.
So I'll go from minimum pay all the way up to, the limit.
The Limit, yeah.
Which I appreciate Del for that.
Fucking Del's a smart guy. So Del Mays we're talking about here. He is the band leader for the Eagles Tribute, The Limit, and he was formerly in a very, I won't name it because we don't want to give them the props, but there's a huge Eagles tribute band that travels the country, and Del started that band. So, he was going to do the Crows tribute with us. We came down to the very first. We didn't even have a rehearsal. We just got together. Joe, myself, Del. Who else was? I don't know who else was at that fucking rehearsal. I don't remember anymore. But he knows his shit, dude. Like soup to nuts, he knows his shit.
Yeah, we played a casino gig just doing variety Southern rock. How'd
you end up with the fucking Don Henley parts though in that band? That's the hardest guy to sing sometimes.
Well, I'm mostly when everybody's there, we have a Don Henley.
Oh, okay.
But when everybody's there, I handle more of the Joe Walsh, Timothy B. Schmidt. Because I'm a high tenor.
High tenor, yeah.
But,
does that ever freak you out?
If someone can't make it, if someone's on the road with something else, I can sing all of the guys. I can do Glenn Frey. I can do Don Henley. Just because that's who taught me when I was a kid,
the Eagles. Yeah.
Every song and learning every harmony. It's like when I get into a song, I learn every part.
See, I have a real hard time differentiating the lead vocal from the harmony notes. Like, even though I can figure it out on guitar.
So did I. That's why I started doing that.
Is it? Yeah.
I really, started from, 90210.
Yeah.
I was like, from Owner of a Lonely Heart. It's like, okay, what's the other guy doing? What's the other guy doing? Okay, so now if I get in a situation and someone's unsure, try this.
Yeah.
And I can be more not a leader per se, but someone that can mentor people and guide them to, those kind of things.
Harmony's not easy.
No.
It's not easy because you have to train yourself to hear the song a completely different way.
It blows me away with a lot of singers, and it's no offense to anybody, but people that put themselves in lead singer position that don't know their craft.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
No, we know I'm an opinionated person.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that. And I sat down and I was trying to think about that this week, about why I'm so opinionated. And there's a whole, when I go into the whole big picture of the opinion, it's like this, is that nothing that I have ever done musically has come easy.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to work my ass off.
Right.
for it. From the day I said, I want to learn how to play guitar, I wasn't naturally gifted. Yep. I had to sit down and I had to learn it. And the same came when I decided to become a singer. Mm-hmm. Was I had to sit down and I had to train myself and I had to learn it.
Yep.
Same comes with promotion, the business end of it, the graphics end of it, the video end of it, all of these fucking aspects of it. Like I had to train myself how to do them and how to do them well because they don't come natural.
Right.
And so then when I get into, when I look at a scene and I see a bunch of people half-assing it, it drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Cause it comes from everything from the dress of the band to, whatnot. It's like when you go and you see a band wearing outfits, they look like they're wearing outfits. When you see a band of guys who actually dress like that on a daily basis, mm-hmm. they wear the clothes don't wear them. And that's how it becomes.
They start living a lifestyle.
It's,
I just don't want to get lost in a persona. I just try my best to represent who I am on an everyday basis. And at the same time, if I can't give them something to look at, I will. But it's it's not high priority.
No, well, for you,
it's like for me, it's
performance. It's performance and consistent pay within because this is all you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally get that.
And it's to me, it's all about relationships. And it's like if I'm trying to be something I'm not on stage, and then turn around and something else.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to be who I am and represent what I am on an everyday basis to everyone I meet.
Yeah. But it's hard. So you,
it's hard
because it's really fucking, I've been struggling with this for probably about 6 or 7 months, maybe a year or more, is that the more popular the band gets, and there's going to be somebody listening that's going to be like, oh, it's always me, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But when you're a musician, you end up with friends. Everybody's your friend. Everybody knows you. Everybody, and the more popular the band gets, or the more popular you get, the more people are your buddy, the more people are your friend, the more people want to hang out with you, the more people want to invite you over their house, the more, and for me, what ends up happening is, even like from the very beginning, I keep it very standoffish. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I describe it? It's like, for me, it's a lifestyle and it's a job. And and as much as I love the people that come to see me, there has to be a level of, separation between the two.
Yeah.
Because as a musician playing in bars, primarily you see people at the height of their, they're all a little bit loose when it comes to having been drinking all night,
right,
or smoking weed all night, or whatever it is, and you get to witness
the worst of
it, and then you also get to become the person that has to sit back and watch while this guy's cheating with this guy's wife, and that guy is drinking to the point and getting into his car, and these are all these things that we have to take home.
Yep.
At the end of the night.
Ego and desire-driven things.
And it gets hard, and so what I end up doing is I withdraw, and then I just kind of stick to hanging out with my musician friends because...
As far as representation on stage, I mean, I look around your house. You're a very creative guy, and you have a way in your advertisements. You push the bike-centric, but then you also have like this Buddhist thing going on, and it's like, you represent yourself very well. Like we were discussing earlier, when it comes, I got started in this business writing my own music. And anybody that writes their own music and goes into the passion project of creating and then putting it out for mass consumption knows that, there is a sales part of that you have to learn, because you can't get people to just listen to you. Right.
It's like, you become an uncontrollable narcissist because your entire life now becomes talking about yourself.
Your next
to
check,
sell it.
Your next check depends on it. You're only as good as your last gig. And
correct.
That's the roadie term. It's for roadies.
And the layman doesn't understand that.
Anything behind the curtain, you're only as good as your last gig.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sound man gets feedback. Good luck getting another gig from that. You know.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know. And it's like when you're wearing a lot of hats, like me, for the people that can't afford to pay us what we need to get paid to put on a real show, to put on lights, to put on, you know, have a sound man, put the delays in the right spot, things like that. For me, I just go completely native and simple, very guerrilla style production to where, you know.
Yeah, but there's a reason why you have to do that.
You got your performance. You got your songwriting, arrangement, performance, and execution. If you don't have them, why press the red button?
Correct.
And that's like the punk rock in me. That's like, let's just go guerrilla. And, you know, it's up to us to make a good recording, because it's not about recording the perfect songs. We're recording moments.
Moments, right.
Capturing moments. You know, so the things I put out on
no
YouTube,
auto-tune for you?
No. no tablet in front of me. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, it is mine.
You see my shirt.
I get in a lot of trouble.
I wore this shirt on purpose.
Yeah. I get in a lot of trouble for voicing my opinion on that, you know, but
that's fine in the rehearsal space. It's fine when you're working up a song. But when you're on stage, I've seen some really good local bands ruin their performance by looking down at the tablet.
Me too. And then
even if it's in a teleprompter or in a hidden space,
they get so defensive when all you're trying to do is show them up your game.
You lose your timing.
You lose your timing.
Yeah.
You lose your attention to details.
Yeah.
You lose
the emotion of the song.
Correct. Because you're no matter how many times I have to have this conversation, it's supposed to be there as a tool. Now, for Eat Crow, I use a teleprompter.
Yeah.
But I need it because 9 times out of 10, I can get lost in the music.
One or two words. You know.
One word throw me. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's a glance. Glance at it, move on. Glance, move on.
Dell saved me the other day because I don't have the teleprompter. I mean, he saved me the other day. We're doing Walk Away, and you know, I got past the second verse, and it's like,
it happens.
Windows, you know, just a window of blank, and you know, he saw, I gave him the look. He knew to go straight to the chorus, and straight to the outro.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when they know.
We can read each other. You know? My guys, both bands can do that too. Yeah.
To the point that as a singer, it leaves me the freedom of not having to worry. Mm-hmm. You know, like when usually the singers ends up, by natural selection, you're the band leader because they're following you. And I get distracted fucking easy, you know, and you brought this up just a few seconds ago, is that you're wearing so many hats.
Yeah.
And that kind of becomes a problem in the I want to put on a show atmosphere, and this is why, I'm not saying it's a fault. It's not a fault of the musician. It's a fault of the way that the live music venue here is set up.
Right.
Is if you look around, there are, let's just make a hypothetical, there's 100 bars, right? And every one of those 100 bars has the same exact mindset setup. It's set up in 4-hour blocks, because that's the minimum amount of time that they need in order to recuperate whatever money they're paying for whatever. So you have your 4-hour block of music at a venue that is not set up for sound.
Right. It's not centered around music.
It's not centered around music. It's centered around the bar, and it's centered around the food. And so what happens is then when you go to like an Earl's Hideaway, or you go to Captain Hiram's, or you go to any of these places, the bands that are drawing the most people are the ones that are throwing some kind of a show.
Yep.
Because that's what the people want, to be entertained, not just have somebody singing 3 hours worth of music. And so the larger crowd show up to those bands. The issue is in order for the bands to put on that kind of a show, the expense becomes much larger than just showing up and outfitting your, you know.
So I try to work it to my advantage that if we have a simple production without a lot of effects, if I have the sound system and I'm kind of running that, and I'm breaking my wife into running basic sound.
Sure.
You know? And she's great. I love, you know, Kathy is just 100% about it. And, so it's like with that, I think of it as like pre-production for the big show. Every small show or every stripped down show is all pre-production.
For the big one.
For the big one. So when I do have the sound man, you know, if I'm getting it right without effects, if I'm getting my craft right, just imagine what it's going to sound like when people are there. When the cues are there.
I hate when I have a guy, like a singer, if I'm helping sound or something, right? And I have somebody, or I have a band opening for me, and, you know, and they're using your gear and you're just going to kind of mix them, and they're like, you know, you got to add more delay, add more reverb, add more, and I'm like, no, you're destroying it. You know, learn how to sing, and then use those things to enhance the experience, not as a crutch,
right?
You know, like Kirk Hammett solo without wah-wah pedal,
right?
There's
you know, I record copy, and I did a lot of record. I can mimic voices pretty good.
Me
too.
Know,
Bob Seger, like you said, Don Henley.
You are gifted with a wide range. You called yourself a high tenor before, but you don't. You're more than that. You've got a low range too.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
Yeah, no, I can hear it.
I'm developing and developing. I'm gonna never stop.
When you speak, right? So I learned this a long time ago. Is there's and I hear it in your timbre, in your voice too, is that when there are people, and I'm one of those, you seem to be one of those too, where you speak in one voice, and that voice kind of has a, low end timbre.
Yeah, I tend to talk too quiet. But
I don't have that problem.
But my projection when I sing is not.
It's not, yeah. Actually, and that kind of blew me away because I've seen you do your live, your acoustic stuff. And then when I saw you do Dirty Laundry, I was like, God damn, man. You know, I didn't realize that you had that strong of a high tenor. And I was like, shit, that sounds fucking really good. And then, of course, the camera pans over to Dell, and I'm like, no wonder why this fucking band sounds so good.
Yeah, and Mike Jewell as well. He's an incredible keyboardist.
Yeah,
he's the man.
Yeah, that's a hard venue because the owner likes to sound low.
Yep.
Like he wants people to be able to have a conversation at their tables. And as a musician,
it's hard. I think in-ears helps.
Yeah,
in-ears definitely helps, especially if you have people that know how to control their monitor mix. You know.
Well, the beauty of the in-ear is that it's there as a reference, right? I had a guitar player that refused to use him because it would change the sound of his tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for a reference. It's not there for you to get off on your tone. You know, you're live performing, set your tone, have faith in the sound guy. The sound guy is going to reproduce your sound just the way that you want it.
Yeah. And if there are any problems, he will attack it as soon as he can get to it.
Absolutely. You know, like, and for in-ears, for me, in most situations, the stage is not big enough for me that I need to have everybody in my in-ears. Most of the time, it's just my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because, I'm the amount of ambient you need to, like your body is supposed to be trained to feel, not just hear.
Right.
You know, like if I'm singing off key, I already know I'm going off key based on a feeling in my head, and it's the same with the other guys. Like I know when somebody goes out of key immediately,
right? Because
it throws my body off, you know. And the in-ears enhance my ability to not have to project as hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all grew up in those days where we couldn't afford fucking PA, you know, a good PA, so you had a 100-watt you had guys in the room that were playing a full fucking drums with, I grew up in the 80s, so when we were learning, it was, guys had double bass drum sets with 900 cymbals, and each guy in the rehearsal studio had a half stack or a full stack of 100 watts.
You're constantly competing with the sound. The only way I can compete is the vocals basically have their auxiliary out to their own powered system.
Yep.
To where they basically have their own PA to compete with all that. That's what I did in the 80s. I basically had a completely different mixer, just using the aux out.
For your monitor systems.
And some things, some compression tricks to where it's like, even if you don't use the compression, you can use the boost and create an auto, an auto peak situation to where if the band's raising up, the vocals rise up above it. Always stay 4 decibels above.
You have to.
Little tricks like that.
The vocal is the key to what people are, or the majority is focusing on.
Yeah.
So yes, the beat is important. Yes, the bass line is important. Yes, the guitars and the keys and all that other stuff are important, but the focal point.
To me, it's the vocals and the beat. I'm always preaching to the projects I'm in, the projects that, when we're developing Florida East, we put together songs because, but I guess what I'm saying is I always push the vocals have to have pocket. There has to be pocket. There's got to be dynamics, and every instrument is a percussion instrument first.
Right.
It's like if you concentrate on the percussion and the groove of the song, then add the melodic, then add the rhythmic, and then everybody's tight.
Yeah.
That's really my philosophy.
I am starting to get an itch. Just because what ends up happening for at this point, like with Shovelhed, it's an autopilot type of a situation.
Beautiful.
You don't have to. Well, we're rehearsing tonight. We're throwing in like 7 new songs, and we're putting in a bunch of work down in West Palm Beach tonight. But for that one, like I booking, this is what I do. It's like I'm done. I'm done booking for next year already for that band. And what we do is I have a handful of venues. I book out for the entire year, and then I'm good.
Right.
Except that, like, I start these things like the podcast because I want to be able to have the conversations I can't have on gig night with guys. And, if I go out to a bar to see another band, I end up getting called up on stage or some shit, and really I just kind of want to hang out.
Right.
I just want to chill, and I want to watch a band.
Right.
I don't go out to draw attention to me. I go out because I want to be able to enjoy some music.
Right.
And,
it's a juggling act.
It's a juggling. It is a juggle. And so, like, I love these hour and a half conversations that I get to have with somebody different every fucking week because it forces me to think about the bigger picture, that the other musicians, the battles that we all face, no matter where we sit in the grand scheme of the community, the music community, we all are battling the same issues. We're all dealing with an overabundance of musicians, all scrambling for the same gigs.
Well, it's Florida. Here's the difference with Florida than other places is that people come here to retire. People that were musicians when they were kids, they put their life towards their families, toward their work. Now they're retiring and picking it back up. So that's the subpar. I want everybody to pick up their instrument and play.
That's
really what my jam nights are about, is developing that, bring them back up.
But just like anything else, there's a place and a time for it. And,
but as long as the club can pay a retiree $400 to show up,
they're gonna. Correct. Correct. And the retiree's doesn't need the money.
Right.
This isn't the only atmosphere that's like that. You go to any place that is a vacation destination that has beautiful weather, or they like to say beautiful weather, and we just say it's either fucking hot or wet. But Hawaii, music scene, same type of a setup. It's a situation. There are seasons, and when the seasons are in, you know, our seasons from October to fucking March, it's a much different time than it is the rest of the year.
Right.
You know, and the summer, like, I don't know, I'm watching you fucking play. I watched the video of you playing last night, and I'm like, fuck this, dude. Like, I hate playing outside right now.
Yeah, the humidity can get you.
It's
I love to sweat when I play, but sometimes
but there's a limit, dude. You know, like
when you've sweated out more than you've taken in. You know?
I can't eat. Like, I can't physically eat 3 hours or so before I play.
I don't want to be spitting food in my mic. You know?
Well, there's that. It makes me feel weighted down. And then at some point, usually like between July and August, the outside gigs, like, I start to overheat, like literally overheat. I could feel my head overheating. I could feel faintness coming over my body, and I'll look at the guys and I'll be like, okay, take a break. You know, like, we hit a 45-minute mark in 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
I'm taking I can't.
Right.
You know, I'm not a kid.
Tim, you know,
even the kids shouldn't be doing it.
Tim of Beck's Brotherhood, you know, he's a trooper, you know. He just keeps going. You can tell when it's getting to him. Yeah. It gets to him.
I don't know how the drummers do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, because I think about me and feeling like, you know, those 4-hour gigs outside it's like a marathon, and the whole hour, the entire hour. Well, let's say after I get past like the 5th or 6th song and the heat really starts to hit, now it becomes how long is it until this set is over?
Yeah.
It's no longer, I can't wait to get to the next
it's like
song.
You can feel yourself getting weaker too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'll almost earmark the parts that I know are going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I don't even have to review them when I'm looking through tape. You know? I'm like earmarking them in my head.
Or you're like, what happens to me is that I get, if I am not hydrated enough, I have a really hard time hitting the high notes, the high highs.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be approaching that note. I know the note's coming. Yeah. And now in my fucking head, I'm thinking, where is there a break in my guitar playing that I can reach for my water?
Yeah.
And grab a drink, you know, like, where can I just stop and grab a drink?
Yeah, it was like, you know, you have a guitarist shook me all night long before you.
Oh, fuck, dude. You know, it's funny that you say that, because I'm one of those guys. I hate sets. I hate creating sets. It drives me fucking crazy to have to sit down and write down an order. I would much rather be able to go and
but that goes hand in hand with the show.
Well, that's Eric, my bass player. When we do the show gigs, like the 2-hour straight through gigs, he designs the sets. And the first couple of times that he did it, I never gave him any direction. I just said, yeah, man. He's like, can I make them? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And unless you're a singer, it's so funny to be able to look at a set list drawn up by a singer as opposed to a set list drawn up by any other member of the band, because they don't think in terms of you, like the struggles you go through to say, all right, those first 3 songs of any night for me are warm up.
Yeah.
Don't put any of the Journey fucking songs in the first, you know, like I agree, you gotta come out swinging, but there are fucking songs that need a good, you know, you need to get into the pace, the breathing, the thinking.
To me, it's a Bob Seger, because Bob Seger's got enough high and growl and yet enough baritone to where I can work everything out within one song.
Right.
You know, so I'll do, you know, Fire Down Below or something like that to start. And it's a good hit at the beginning.
Right. That's the one that we struggle with. Not the Bob Seger, but always the first song of the night.
Right.
Because our instincts are, you know, the way that the Florida scene works is if you know, for those of you, I repeat these things sometimes when I have guests that we all know it, but sometimes others of you don't. The way that the night usually sets up is the first set of the night is usually so early that it's the set in which people are getting there. So you don't ever blow any of your best songs that you feel are your big numbers. You don't put them in the first set. Those are the, like, if there's a dinner crowd, or if there's a slow entrance crowd, or there's usually people don't get, they're not feeling a lack of care and lack of anxiety and the freedom to get up and dance until they've had a drink or two.
That let go moment.
Yeah, and it's so fun. It really is fun if you're a people watcher, which I am, to witness the change that comes and as it goes over the night, You're like, first set, everybody is just a little uptight, everybody's just hugging everybody and saying, oh, it's so good to see you, and all this other shit. By the middle of the second set, you could tell that some people have now had, they were wearing funnels or something in between sets because they just pounded in some drinks.
Time to stoke the fire. Like Square Grouper in Jupiter in particular is a unique bird because it starts out with a kind of a dinnerish older crowd, and the longer the night goes, the younger the crowd gets.
I've heard that about this one too, the Fort Pierce one.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. If you could start out the night.
It's very noticeable.
2 different crowds.
It's very noticeable in Jupiter.
Yeah.
What Beck's brother has been doing well there is the dinner crowds haven't been leaving. So it's like the crowds stay mixed for a little longer before it's like,
oops, you lost your keys.
Time to take my medication. But, no offense there. Don't want to offend anyone with that. It's just a good old person joke.
Yeah, right. You know what? Have you played Philly Down South yet?
I have with Alita and the boys. We were regulars there before they did all the upgrades. When it was just basically a.
I like the way he's got it set up.
I like his business mind too.
Me too. He's smart. I like guys that pay attention to their competitors.
Right.
And there aren't a lot of them anymore. I feel like I don't want to. I won't name names negatively, but I know of a couple of venues that have gotten into, they've lost their way and are not paying attention to what their competitors are doing.
Yep.
And so they've become their competition, and he, pays attention, one, to the bands. He pays attention to his crowd because they ask him for what they want, and he brings them in. And, I think he's
also smart enough not to, if I already got 3 Southern rock acts,
don't really
bring in another
Correct.
Southern rock act. He's smart like that.
Yeah.
There's one thing he said that really made me start paying attention to him is Alita was talking about a danceable crowd. He's like, he's like, I want a listening crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I agree. I like a listening crowd because then the focus is more on us and not the whoop it up. And it's like, she's like, why? And he's like, because people are more apt to buy drinks if they're paying attention to something. People don't buy drinks when they're on a dance.
That's correct. They're gonna get.
So he's thinking of his bottom line.
That's right, and it is the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem is that I know, not with him, but that I do notice with a lot of these places is they're not prepared for crowds. And so what happens is when they do have a crowd, there's not enough staff on in order to keep people from a 20-minute wait for a fucking drink. Like if you run an establishment,
right,
and you got a line of that's 6 people deep waiting for a fucking drink, at all times, you're losing out on money, hand over fist. Like I miss the days when you would go to an outdoor venue and there'd be a girl with a beer tub. You can't do dollar beers anymore, but used to be able to go. When I drank, I was a beer drinker, not a hard liquor drinker. I would just go and have a couple of beers over the course of the night. Being able to go to the dollar fucking beer trough girl,
right,
took me out of that queue.
Yep.
Every single fucking time.
to get the same thing that you wanted in the first place.
Well, yeah, or I don't want to have to go to the bar and order 3 beers at once.
Yeah.
And then walk away knowing that by the time I get to them, they're going to be warm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all of that translates into the experience is that here you are, if you're a band and if you're an entertainer, you want to be able to provide the audience, no matter where you are, with an experience, because how are they going to remember you from all the others?
Right.
If you didn't leave them thinking, wow, holy shit, like that's the part of this game that sucks.
And in the dinner music field, it's still, you're still playing to retirees.
Yeah.
And you're playing to vacationers. And it's like, that even limits, if you're selling vacation, they want you to play that Jimmy Buffett role.
That's right.
And it's like, okay, so it's like, you really got to do something to separate yourself from the rest. For me, like acoustically, I tend to be more melodic than upbeat.
Right.
Because I get the chance to play the songs that I love that when I'm with a band, they don't want to play.
Correct. But you know what? It's weird because I know a lot of guys that do this the same way, is that when with the band, and it's even comes into the Shovelhed thing, is that there's I have this rule that when you're playing for an audience that is there primarily to drink, you have there's an 80% law, I say, is that the songs that you play need to resonate with 80% of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to lose 20% because then in any normal situation, you're losing 20% of people anyway that are online going to the bathroom, online getting a drink, or waiting, or eating, or whatever, talking and not paying attention. So your job is to captivate those 80% of the people. And that is out of the 60 billion quadrillion songs that have been written since the beginning of the very first fucking note, there's only, 60 songs that people resonate with.
Isn't that weird?
It's fucking weird, dude. It's so
weird.
I
keep asking myself, are people just being conditioned to go back to the same music? Because, or is it,
I think it's more scientific.
Or is it that these songs are just so great that they just resonate in your head,
I think it's way more scientific, and I don't understand the science behind it, but I take like what songs? That any time an Eagles band, anybody plays the Eagles, you're going to be asked 100 fucking times to play Hotel California.
Yep.
It's a guarantee. Guaranteed fucking song. You do Journey, you're going to guarantee to be asked to play Don't Stop Believing.
Mm-hmm.
You do, if you don't throw Sweet Child of Mine into a set,
good luck.
You're literally losing
I would love
your
to
crowd.
Me personally, I would do My Michelle, or I would do something.
We didn't
every
do
song on that Appetite album is great,
Yeah.
It's like,
why do I have to only play that one? Or, even the Dead or Alive, you find yourself, you're going to get way more reaction out of a Bon Jovi Dead or Alive than you are going to get out of a Runaway.
Right.
There are very specific songs that people expect to hear. The other one, Billy Idol, Rebel Yell.
Yep. Mm.
There are songs I would love to fucking throw away. The second I throw it away, literally, this has happened to me for 6 years. The second I throw the fucking song out, somebody says, can you play Billy, play Rebel Yell? And I'm like, fuck me. Are you serious? I took it out. I purposely took it out of the set, and somebody's like, play Rebel Yell, and you're like, fuck me. All right. Because the truth is that when you're in that situation, I'm not playing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I'm enjoying it because I had to learn to put myself into learning, and,
That's basically why Eddie Money retired.
Yeah.
He's like, people are asking him about new albums and stuff because he did a lot of re-releases.
Right.
Of greatest hits and things like that. And he's like, people don't want to hear old Eddie Money.
Right.
They want to hear classic Eddie Money.
Correct.
They want to know what what I'm saying? It's like, he's like, my songwriting abilities, my time is diminished, my health is diminished, my craft is diminished. So why give them something subpar when made all this great
and it's
music.
the truth.
And he's like, and then touring, he finds himself basically being a cover band of himself.
Right. Frankie Valli, same thing.
Because people expect to hear it a certain way in a certain pitch, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
they want exactly that, you know, and that's exactly it. You know, you go, when you're out in Florida, the better bands are crafting the experience for the snowbirds.
Yeah.
And the vacationers. And, you know, you're attempting, it's so fucking weird.
I take it a step further than that. I feel like it's my job to make retirees feel that youth again, to quicken them, to help them still feel young while they got the time to.
You don't have to do that, dude. You go to the villages, it's the highest case of fucking STDs in the world, man. You know, but you're between 60 and 85 years old passing crabs around.
It's crazy.
But, no, look, I post it all the time, is you have to look at the music as a business, especially here, because it's what the scene is built around. It's built around providing alcohol and, providing a good time centered around alcohol and food to a transient crowd of people that come and go. And what you end up finding, though, is that you get a lot of the same people year after year after year, but it's, again, transient. Mm-hmm. You know, where, you'll see, I mean, you're playing Earl's this weekend, right? Watch the difference in the
August 2nd, 2 to 6.
That's right. I pay attention to things. You see the crowd at Earl's during the daytime completely change from off season to peak season. It's like, holy shit, it's unfucking believable.
Right.
You know, the same with Sebastian Tiki. On Dave Scott's Monday Night Jam thing there, dude, when I moved down here in 2015, one of the first things I did, because the jams where I came from in New York, there were no jams, right. You know, and I came down here and every fucking place has a jam. So somebody's like, oh, you gotta go see Dave Scott's jam.
It's for the retirees, like what I was talking about earlier.
You go there on a Monday night, there's 450 fucking people in peak season. And I'm like, for a jam? Are you shitting me? You know, and
I feel like I did Krista from Rosie's right doing the jam throughout the summer. I mean, we started in April. We did the jam night all through the summer. And at least for those nights, we had great crowds that bought.
Right.
that bought either dinner or drinks, and they stayed longer. So I feel like, you know,
but now you give it a reputation.
Mission accomplished.
Because it was off season.
In the off season.
Off seasons. That's how I looked at the success of Shovelhed as being better, more than I thought. It was when the crowds didn't change between on and off season. You know, like, and that just takes work. Right. I mean, I pound it. I pound social media.
It's like you said to me about 2 months ago, and I stopped by to watch your first set before I had to run somewhere else. It's like, you're like, your band's only 2 years in this. Be patient.
Yeah.
Just be patient and keep doing what you're doing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Be patient, because at some point, people, look, any band is popular, among their crowd for short periods of time. And I'll try to explain this the best way that I can, because I see it, and I've seen it my whole life. And band members that are less experienced freak out when they see it happen, is that you end up, you have a group of people, and over the course of time, the band continues providing music, but the crowd changes. Mm-hmm. People die off. People stop hanging out. And there's a larger picture involved there. It's usually 9 times out of 10, a relationship changed.
Yeah.
And in a new relationship, the person doesn't go out as often as the other person does. And so now this couple is no longer going out because the relationship has changed, or this guy lost his job, or all these things that you don't attribute to.
Party animal settles down.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million things. And over the course of it, over the course of a year, I'll have a regular group change continuously.
Right.
And that's another hard aspect of the whole thing too, is that,
once you're there, once you absolutely have the confidence in the product that you're selling, I feel like you were there. You don't have to look behind you to see who's
Well, you
reach
a point where you just
you're
go.
to a point where you absolutely know that what you're selling is worth.
Correct.
Worth.
But that's still a fight.
Yeah.
That's still a fight. And you have to,
But it's like you get to that point and it's like, okay, now how can I keep us relevant? Because people are going to get tired of the same image or the same
songs or the same
routine,
If I go see a band and I literally can tell what song they're going to play next in the set, that's a destroyed experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means that you're literally just phoning it in over and over and over and over again. And to me, I don't know. The day that we stopped playing with a set list for me was the best thing in my life.
This is where I have to promote my other band, Glory Days Vero Beach.
Oh, go ahead.
They are a seasonal band. They play basically just in Vero. They only do large shows, street festivals, the Loop, places like that, where we're guaranteed large draws.
Right.
A very good band. They have an off season. They have time in the summer. They take summer off, and at the end we have a season party. Very special season this past year, and then we go over what are we doing next year. And we come up with these lists of songs. Everybody, it's like we choose 5 out of everybody's list.
Yeah.
And then it breaks down to something. Okay, what do we want to keep from last season? What's going to fall off? What's going to be added?
Change it up.
And it's very focused. So we have our individual time throughout the summer to concentrate on these songs, this list that we have, imaginary list. We don't even know if we're going to play them yet.
Right.
But it's our job.
That's the fun part.
It's our job to show up to practice and know the material.
Right.
There's rehearsal, there's practice, and then there's rehearsal. Individual practice, group rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have people that are willing to do that all the way around, you get so much further.
Oh, and it makes, your advancements become immediate rather than months long in process.
Right.
And that's beauty.
If you come up knowing your shit, if you know your stuff, the moment you strap on to rehearse with the band, the more confidence that ensues with everybody around you. They know you're going to be there.
Oh yeah.
You know they're going to be there. I don't have to sit there and cue a drummer on what ticks to hit.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
That I agree with that, because I have a problem where I
you have an unpredictable drummer.
Fucking unpredictable is an understatement.
But he does it so beautifully. It's like me and Evan Jacobson were talking the other night. It's like we listened to him drum, and it's like he's doing all the things people say not to do, but he does them perfectly.
Yeah,
and he never loses a pocket.
You mean your guy or my guy?
Your guy.
No, bullshit. He loses a lot of pockets. You guys just don't fucking notice it. Patrick is,
I'm grooving to his beat.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I had the hardest time adjusting to him. Like Eric Stone will tell you. I would call Eric on a daily fucking basis being like, motherfucker, he doesn't follow this is the God's honest truth. This is what our conversations are like. I'm like, Patrick does not fucking follow anybody. He doesn't provide it. It's like, you bring Patrick into the band conforms to Patrick.
Most great, let's say the movie That Thing You Do is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Most great bands have a drummer that commands space.
Correct.
Just like a karate fighter, you
correct.
have to command your space in a fight.
But it makes it so hard. You're a bass player, dude. Try to lock in with a fucking guy that plays like
that. But, all
right, take an argument.
I brought you here for Spartacus.
I'm going to give you a fucking riff.
It's that whole thing. Okay, so think of your drummer like a guitarist that does call and response, a blues player.
Yeah.
Your drummer's doing the same thing with your voice.
And
it's like you sing and he's...
So here, this is what I got to do, right? With him. Is that he's listening to my voice, he's doing that to my voice, and then I have to somehow try to match my guitar to his lack of pocket and my voice. Now see, when I'm singing, there's a whole mathematical process going on here between what this hand is doing, what this hand is doing, what my eyes are doing, what my ears are doing, and what my voice is doing. Yeah. And then there's controlling foot pedals and fucking all the other kind of shit. Like, people don't get it. They don't understand. You're like a monkey up there with a bazillion things going on. And when there are parts of songs that are just, they're not possible to play. Like, the end of Sweet Child of Mine. By the time we get to that part,
to the walk up,
yeah. He is so fucking bored and tired of playing the song like, this is slow fucking song.
30-second notes.
That you get to the build up, and now he's had all this, he's about to ejaculate as far, that's a joke, fucking people. But he's just about to fucking explode, and then he goes into this double bass fucking thing at the end where, the guitar goes, and you can't do the notes in the middle. Right. You can only go bar chord, and then speed it up faster and faster and faster. The trick was knowing it was going to happen every time.
Right.
And then being able to, now, if I play, like when Patrick is touring or he goes away or does some kind of thing, we have Doug, from, used to be in Resonate. He fills in for us. Yeah. And, Doug plays very time conscious, where Patrick is more of a lead fucking drummer. But, there's time conscious drummers, lead drummers. And the contrast between the two, it's like night and fucking day. Like, all of a sudden now you have different inspirations in songs because you could do one thing with one that you can't do with the other, or one thing,
right.
That's where the joy of that comes in
we haven't played in a band together in a long time. I want to give a shout out to James Thatcher from Papa Wheelie.
Oh, I love Papa Wheelie.
So me and James have been in a couple of bands together when we were like young, in our 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And to this day, he is, as far as the mixture of feel, presence, fun, timing, personality, uniqueness, he is the best drummer I've ever played with.
Is he? Yeah. I don't know. I know Dave and Sam.
On bass or singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in a band called The Shakes together. Shout out Jesse. And Bastille, a metal band. When he first moved down here, we were playing in Bastille.
How long are you a native? You Florida native?
No, I'm a Navy brat. I'm born in Texas, but I was raised all over the place.
Where in Texas?
Washington, Virginia, Alabama. Of course, half my family is Alabama.
Alabama, yeah.
Got large roots, big family roots in Alabama. But I've been here back and forth for a long time. I've got a lot of family in Pensacola. Came down here. My dad got a job down here, and just I wanted to be closer to a music scene,
Yeah.
Closer to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, probably the better,
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to be on the outskirts.
Well, Miami, yeah. If you're
Tampa seems to be more of the rock town
right now. Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, even the test waters for us were the E-Pro at OCC.
Mm-hmm.
OCC's gravitates more towards hard rock. They love the Sunset Strip Band, the Den of Thieves, which is more of it's more hard rock, and then when they bring in like Night Train, place is fucking packed, and the Dirt, I think, or one of the Motley Crue tributes, or the Kiss tributes, it's all very 80s kind of hard rock centric is their big thing. Yeah. So he brought us in on a Sunday for this thing, off season too, and we had a really good turnout, which was surprising because we weren't sure. It was a test to see whether or not something other than hard rock would actually work on a Sunday. And it thankfully it did. It's, this is the total opposite of here. So for the longest time, I had a lot of friends of mine in the South, like the southern area. There's a lot of hard rock down there too, like Made of Metal and Insult to Injury and all these other, great bands that are down south that can't get gigs up here or couldn't until more recently because it's hard to sell metal.
Yeah.
Or, hard rock here. But I think that's all,
unless you sell it as an event. It's like, I think that's the big thing is like, most people are just advertising this show as another bar gig or just another night at this club. Whereas like, you said it about a year ago, is where every gig should have its identity. Every gig, man. So it's like, if you sell it more as an event than just a showing.
Yeah, but here's the culture. Here's why the culture here is not working properly, okay? Is that if you had the incentive to put on a show every time, you fucking would.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the sad part, is that if you were incentivized to put on a fucking show every single time you strapped on your guitar, you would constantly be putting on high entertainment shows. But there is no, it is such a struggle to make fucking a decent salary as a musician here, that the incentive to get there,
it gets you to the point of burnout.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm at a burnout part because I'm even going to tell the guys tonight, I don't want to book any more fucking gigs. I'm done.
Yeah, I counted it up between solo gigs and band gigs and fill-in bass player gigs since January. I've done 165 gigs.
Fucking crazy.
And it's only been 6 months.
It's crazy the amount of burnout. And then the unfortunate part of the burnout is that then I start becoming resentful. And I say to myself, well, look, man, to do this the way that I've been doing it my whole life is worth way more than I'm being paid. And then I sit back and I say, okay, well then don't do it. Then I just won't do it. I'll do podcasts every motherfucking day because I get off doing this too, but I love to sing and I sent a message out to the Eat Crow guys because those guys I always wanted a band that could play blues, country, soul, but correctly.
Right. That's why I have to jump to so many projects.
Yeah, to get
everybody has their discipline and don't want to divulge from it,
Right.
Whereas like,
and it's true. Like,
I just want to play music.
The Shovelhed guys, I can't play Black Crowes with them. I can. It just doesn't sound like it should.
Right.
The Black Crowes guys, I said to them the other day, I said, listen, man, I said, I'm just about done with my schedule for Shovelhed, where it's like 85 fucking gigs throughout the year for next year. That's enough for me for Shovelhed.
Right.
Because that band it's a juggernaut. Those couple of hours that we're on stage, I'm completely 100% fucking exhausted and spent when the gig is over. That's how good they are.
Mm.
Limiting that and being able to go and do some other things for me and them, it has been pleasurable because
a leveling off.
Yeah, sure. Because all three of them, they're all very metal oriented.
Yeah,
and they'll get to go and if I have this stuff spaced out properly, they can still get their rocks off playing the metal stuff.
Yeah.
playing, they want to go and do King Diamond, they can go do King Diamond. They want to go and do fucking Deep Purple, they could do Deep Purple. Whatever we all as a collective want to do on our own, we can still do. And the Eat Crow guys, I sent them a message. I'm like, man, if I got some time, would you guys want to do some other shit? Besides the Eat Crow stuff?
Yeah.
Like Eat Crow, and then we'll just name it something else to be able to do some fucking Eagles or some Government Mule or some, whatever.
It's like Dell, we originally started doing Sounds of the South before the Limit.
Right.
Which was tributes, but per set tributes and dinner shows. So we'd sell tickets at Galoopi's.
Right.
And, we do these high dollar dinner shows, and we would do a set of the Allman Brothers, a set of Skinner, or a set of Petty, or, it just depends on what we're advertising for that night. And then it was like a per set.
Yeah, but see, I would love for that to be here.
You gotta have the musicians to do it. You have to have people to put in time
and the
learn the material. The venue
that venue is set up for that. Yeah. I mean, they're smart. They have an LCD screen, so if you really play and
they got the improved dinner stage, and they got the big stage now.
Filthies could support that. It's just the problem is you're limited to 250 people.
Mm-hmm.
400 in there with no tables, and people like tables. They want to sit. You can't do a dinner show without tables.
Right.
I would love for somebody to put together. Do you remember there used to be this, what was the name of that goddamn place? The Giraffe or some shit on US 1. The guy's wife disappeared, like she had dementia, and she disappeared, and the place went out of business, but it was set up like that. It was but it was like Rotary Club, kind of, Beatles stuff going on, and, that a generation that's kind of dying off.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not saying that as a mean thing, but when you're out and about, it's fact of facts. It's, the Beatles tributes and things like that it's a dying genre of music as far as out there and who's supporting it and where. Yes, it can be done in the villages. It can't be done in a fucking touristy place. It's just hard to
it could be done starting with a bankroll and a producer and the right players. It's like if you do it in a big budget,
do it right.
If you do it in a big budget sort of way, it can be done. But it's got to be Jersey Boys, It's got to be a production.
I agree. I totally agree. There's certain
the image, in the lighting, and everything. As if you were there when the Beatles first.
Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't need to go have a slice of pizza and watch a bad Beatles tribute. I don't know, man. My whole thing is that I get angry. I get upset because I want the whole scene lifted up. And the problem is that without somebody pointing out the obviouses, it just stays status quo forever.
Right.
And so there's always going to be the bad guy. And I don't mind being the bad guy. I've been the guy, I've been that guy for a very fucking long time, and I don't mind people just, being like, that guy's a fucking asshole. Actually, I'm not. Sit down and talk with me, and you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Well, Shovelhed has, to me, just as sellable an image, and everything that y'all do, everything y'all produce is so consistent. I put you up there as a tribute band. You're a tribute to.
That's what we think too. The problem is crossing over.
But it's like with that, there's no reason why a promoter, an agent can't find a way to use these theaters and sell tickets, and you got to have a distance off, and you got to put the money in the advertising to get them sold.
They need to be. Something needs to be an event in order for you to properly promote an event. It requires 6 months. 6 months of solid promotion that starts off slow.
Yeah.
And then gets more and more intense as it comes closer and closer to the event time. Mm-hmm. And, anybody that has ever been in the field of entertainment business understands this.
Yep.
You know, it's a game of people and hurting people and appealing to the mindset of a mass, not as an individual. If you look at the situation as individuals,
cast with a big net.
I mean, that's the only way. It's the only way to fucking make it work in a large enough aspect to it's so hard financially, and here's why, okay? Let's say, for sake of argument, that, you know, I've been looking into doing something privately here because I have a large facility that I can put on a concert. But the things that go into that are so expensive.
Yeah.
That, and all of that has to be done up front, right? So when people say,
Gotta get your event permit. Gotta get your alcohol, temporary alcohol.
When you sit and you say shit to people about a ticket price or an entrance price, and they fucking freak out and they say, well, you know, why I'm not going to pay a ticket price, or I'm not going to blah blah blah. That's because you're used to going someplace for free and seeing a free show that has absolutely no show attached to it. It's just a fucking, even a Shovelhed show. I'm only going to put so much into it, because even at a $2,500 price point, it's still not worth it for me to hire a sound guy and a light guy and a fucking, you know, there's so much that goes into that. So in order to do it, yeah, exactly that. You've got your insurance, which you have to have. Gotta have it, because you're bound to have somebody try to sue you for something at some point. This is the United States in 2025, you know?
Yeah.
Insurance, the proper sound reinforcement, not just a couple of guys throwing their fucking gear together and tuning the room themselves, because it's not the same as having a professional sound guy. Same with
we're always limited with time anyways. The best you can do is do a quick ring out of the room anyway.
You're never
going to get it perfect.
You need to be sound checked. You need to have an early start for the day. You know, the sound guys, the part that most people don't understand is their day is the longest.
Yeah.
Out of everybody up there, the sound guy's day is the fucking longest. He's got to get there 2 hours, 3 hours before the bands arrive to start prepping the stage, then dealing with the band. And a band is not just a plug and play fucking situation. Every instrument has got microphones. A drum set has got 10 fucking microphones, you know. Vocals have to be mixed separately than everything. You know, all of this shit is very fucking important to putting on a proper show.
Right.
Having a separate lighting guy, not a lighting guy that's also running sound.
Yeah.
You know, there's multitasking that's why when you go to a concert and people say, well, why is the ticket price fucking $300, $400 fucking dollars for general admission? Because it's a union establishment. Union prices are being paid.
Yeah.
You gotta have one guy that does this and one guy that does that, and the other guy, like, that's...
It's even worse up north. You got the Teamsters, and you got the Teamsters on the dock. You got IATSE in the room.
Yeah. Dude, I was very fucking lucky. I got invited to play Madison Square Garden, and we had never ever played such an enormous union-run fucking place. And
St. Louis is the worst.
That's the Teamsters in fucking New York, and like, we weren't allowed to touch our own gear.
Nope.
If I wanted my gear moved an inch on the stage, I had to have an electrician come up and move my gear for me.
Even back in the roadie days, I'd be on the road for these conventions. I showed you my badge, you showed me yours.
Yeah, right. The business, there is another side to this business. More roadies need to write books.
Yeah.
You know, like, we get... The roadies books are way more fucking interesting than the Stars books, you know?
Crazy.
Fuck, man. So, alright, tell me, what are your gigs coming up?
Upcoming gigs. August.
Look at this. Yes, go ahead.
Let's start with tomorrow.
Yeah.
For those that want to get up on stage and perform with a band, perform by themselves, develop your band from the garage and getting ready to play out. Come out to Rosie's for jam night. We call it the Florida East Jam. And yeah, the 4-piece.
That's Miko, right?
Yeah. And the 4-piece that is Florida East represents every musician on the East Coast that wants to be involved. Take extra time, just like, when I first came in town, Dave Scott took extra time with me to present me in the best light possible, and I respect him for that. And, so I want to do the same thing with my jams. You give me a call, tell me what you want to play, I'll learn your stuff. I learn songs quick, and it's, we develop that, and that way when you do come to play, even if you don't have musicians behind you, we promote you to your best of your abilities, not just on the fly, like, what do I do now?
No, it's important. That's important. Russ Kellum runs a good one too, and at Social Distance, on par with Dave. Yeah. They both have that same exact. They both have a love of introducing people.
Yeah. It's artist development. It's helping the people around you,
Yeah.
pushing them to the next level so they,
And that, what day of the week is that?
That is every other week. We do it every other week. Every other Thursday.
Oh,
so
okay.
The Thursday is tomorrow the 1st, Jam Night at Rosie's. August 2nd will be full Beck's Brotherhood. First time at Earl's, as I've been trying to get into Earl's for 2 years now.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
American Highway.
American Highway.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then, if you want acoustic, I will be at Funky Cuda Friday night as well.
Well, right next to the Tipsy Tiki.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
Great food. They just opened up. It used to be Crocodillo's.
Yeah, yeah.
But now they're the Funky Cuda, and they sell some really good food, and they're a full bar.
He's got the alcohol in there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart, man.
It's a great acoustic show, If you don't want the heavy music, I always got the lighter side too.
Yeah. The cool part about those two establishments is same owner. So you can walk back and forth and check out you can have 2 totally different evenings in the same night.
Yep.
And Will, who books that, does he book the Cuda too?
Yep.
Okay.
Pierce Siders.
He's smart. He loves music.
Yep.
And everything he books has been great.
Mm-hmm.
It really has. He's booked some good stuff.
I appreciate him for booking me, so.
Yeah, right. And then, after that? When is the next time the Eagles band's playing?
Eagles will be playing in Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, August 25th, 26th.
Fredericksburg?
Yeah. We were planning a summertime tour.
Yeah.
We just didn't have, like you said, 6 months out.
Yes. And you need the legs. You need that much time.
And there's things we need to develop this year. We want to put together professional video, professional demo with all the newest members.
Right.
And really push it so we can go headstrong for this next year.
Yeah. People don't get that part of it either.
We're still in pre-production.
Well, even with the me building the Eat Crow thing is that for the first year, I had everybody keep asking me, when are you going to get it? 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 And I'm like, it takes fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, just because you got an entire season of something fucking released on Netflix this month doesn't mean it didn't take them a year and a half to produce it. It takes time to get to the point of which that you feel comfortable with something. And then even when you get to that point, if you're someone like me, you're still not happy.
And that time thing is like movies or music or otherwise, because they're on a time frame, they stick to these templates to make it quicker. And
Correct.
That's why the last show was the same motif as the other.
That's right. Or why the radio plays the same song in the same fucking time. And, that was always a big contention of mine about, when I was growing up in New York. Well, I lived there for 30 years. Most of my adult life was on Long Island, and we had this radio station, WBAB, that, like, I got to the point where I could call out their fucking set list, like their playlist. 20 years later, I could call out what they were going to play during the day, and I would say to myself, like, Doug, how do you people not change anything? There's so many fucking great songs out there, but it goes right back to that same thing.
Yeah.
You hear the same 3 Zeppelin songs all the time.
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
People still go crazy for Tush. Yeah. You know, there's LaGrange, Tush, but you know, me personally, I want to do the Manic Mechanic.
I want to do Blue Jean Blues.
Party on the patio, you know.
But you do those songs, you can do them provided that you do them in the right atmosphere. So like, if I was going to do a full blues night, then I could do some of those other ZZ Top songs. Right. But the crowd wants Sharp Dressed Man.
Yep.
And you're like, fuck, really? Like, drum machine, go ahead, drum machine, go ahead. You know, and I'm like, no, man, no, I want to get down and do the good shit.
Right.
You know?
It's like you rarely hear someone do Tin Pan Alley.
Yeah, well, I get that way with the Doobie Brothers, right? I've mentioned that on here before, is that when I got down here, every band does Long Train Running. Like, I would kill to hear Jesus Is Just Alright Done Right, you know?
Oh, you should have been there the other day.
Yeah. There's so much, I grew,
people didn't stop screaming for that.
My father had the best, musical, his musical selections were fucking amazing. And I got to hear and grow up on some great shit. And so like, he was also one of those a full album listener, you know, so if he got something new, I got to hear the whole fucking album. And every time he'd listen to it, I would hear the whole album, you know, whether it be John Denver or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or the Beach Boys or the Beatles or whatever it was the whole fucking album. See, for 33 minutes or whatever, you got to ingest it.
Late 70s, early 80s Texas radio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Album rock. And it's like, we're going to do we're doing all of side 1 and 2112.
Yes, man. It was fucking awesome.
Pink Floyd The Wall, the whole album, you know.
And now you can't, like, I would have thought, even with something like satellite radio, they would have brought that back. Maybe there is a channel and I missed it somewhere, but that's why I stopped streaming.
I've always had thoughts of like having a band. They got to be talented enough. They got to put in the work, but it's like one night only. Pink Floyd Animals.
Right.
One night only. Something completely different.
Shovelhed was getting. Eric and I, every once in a while, we get a little anxious, and we're like, you know, we want to do something more. We want to do more. And we were talking about that. We were talking about one night only, doing Appetite for Destruction from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem with that is you can't sell it anywhere to make enough money.
I don't know. I watched them live 1988 on YouTube last night.
Did you?
I was not disappointed.
Yeah, but.
And I'm not even I've never been a huge Axl Rose fan.
Yeah.
You know, and of course the singer's like, I could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, the whole attitude at that time, right to the point of, right at the beginning of their popularity.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's not just an act. It's not just an image on stage.
It's a lifestyle.
They represent several images on stage as individuals.
Right.
But at the same time, they look like they belong together.
Exactly.
And it's like,
when you, like if you travel with a band of guys that are just a band, like, anytime I've ever traveled anywhere with my band, people will be like, you guys are a fucking band, right? Like, there's a vibe that goes along with it, and then there's a difference between the vibe. There's a difference between a guy that buys his Worn Star clothing and wears it every fucking day, and the guy that buys his Worn Star clothing, buys one pair of Worn Star jeans, and that's his stage getup, only when he goes on stage, and they're crispy and, you know, like, never used, and you know who's got you know who lives a lifestyle and who doesn't. And that, I think that is very displayed within the community itself. Like, you know who does and who doesn't, because they wear their music in their self.
Right.
Everything about them.
For me, this is not just a guy dressing up in sweats to play. It's like, I can be prepared for a workout. I can be prepared for the weather, you know, legs up or down.
Yeah.
I can be prepared, you know, if the shit hits the fan, I'm not walking away from a fight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's Florida.
I'll get between and stop a fight and try to, you know, be the leader and minimize the situation. But if fist comes to cuffs, I want to be choice to do so. I would be prepared to protect myself.
Nah, man, I'll just get my ass kicked. I don't fucking care anymore. I got a guitar.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt when I hit somebody with it.
I'm not a militant. I try my best to be a pacifist, but at the same time, reality is reality, you know.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, and I've seen everything.
Yeah.
In my 35 years of playing, I've seen everything. In Florida, I've seen everything twice.
Right.
You know, like.
We were playing in old Pensacola, playing an old Harley bar. And it's like, just remember riding the storm out. Three-piece blues band doing Riding the Storm Out.
Right. In the middle of a typhoon.
And there's a fight breaks out.
Oh shit.
And there's blood on my shoe and people are getting dragged out and we're just riding the storm out. We're just playing through the song. You know?
When I first, the first Shovelhed gigs.
Nightly basis.
We used to play up at Siggy's. Every time we fucking play there, every fucking time there would be a fight.
Yeah.
Like, cops called, ambulances, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Then COVID came in, and after COVID, it was a whole different crowd in there, and there were no more fights anymore, but that was like the weirdest fucking shit. Every once in a while, you get into those situations where I always worry, like in Bike Week, Biketoberfest.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you look out there, oh my god, dude, those people can't move. They're so sardined together.
Yeah.
And then you start to see, you know, the testosterone take over. Right. We see everything. That's the other fucked up, you know, aspect of this show is, like I said before, being a people watcher. That's how I get distracted real easy.
Right.
You know, because I'm noticing the fight, or I'm noticing a pre-fight, or I'm noticing an argument, or I'm noticing you know, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm looking for an escape plan, I'm looking for how to protect my equipment plan, I'm looking for, you know, because at any given time.
Because, you know, it could blow up at any given time.
Yeah, and you know, and I've heard, not that I've had happen in any place, but, you know, you hear stories, got a guy brings a gun, you know, to this fucking bar fight in Florida, and I don't got a gun, you know, all I got's my guitar.
Yeah, I saw you text the other day, your question about the gun.
Yeah, well, after that fucking thing in New York City, like, you know, you see I saw the image of the guy walking down the street with the AR-15, and I'm thinking, 2025, like, in order for me to smoke marijuana, I have to have a medical license in order to do it. But this guy can fucking buy.
They're still gonna make you piss in the cup if you want to.
And I can't own a gun. Like I can't in Florida. I can't legally have a firearm license and have a medical marijuana license. Right. So I chose the medical marijuana license, and it's hard. Well, it was at one point. It was hard to get. But is gun ownership, I didn't think gun ownership was really as easy as it really is. When I was a kid in the 80s, I grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
And I literally could go to, there was something called, in Canton, called the First Monday Flea Market. And it was huge, like acres upon acres upon acres of a flea market. And I could go and there would be a guy there with every gun on the planet.
Yeah.
And all laid out on a fucking table. You could pick it up, hold it, point it, fuck whatever the hell you wanted, and if you had money,
there's one in Weatherford, Texas.
It was, yeah. You could even barter with the fucking guy, you know, walk away with a pistol or whatever the fuck you wanted. And I mean, I haven't been to Texas in, you know, now in quite a long time, but I would imagine that it is still just like that.
Hey, you still got people doing it online and WhatsApp. Yeah. They tend to do WhatsApp more than often.
Yeah. You know, but then I get into the whole thought process of you know, there's the two sides of the political spectrum of, you know, cause there's two sides to every spectrum that we live in today's society. And neither one of them are fucking 100% right, because if some guy can walk up down the street with an AR fucking 15 and start blowing people away.
Right.
There's a problem. However, at the same time, don't try to take it away from me. So how do I fix that?
Yeah, that's my biggest issue is that you're gonna do gun laws that take away rights to people that need to protect themselves. You think, you know, it's like the the true outlaw criminal is going to disregard your laws anyway.
No matter what. They do now. Right. Yeah.
So be a law-abiding citizen, you're basically submitting before you ever get attacked.
That's right. And I
just don't agree with that.
Well, I can't. You know, even not being a gun owner, for me, the next thing is going to be, you're going to try to take away my knives. You're going to try to take away, you know, there was already laws like in New York. I couldn't have a fucking baseball bat in the back of my car because it was considered a weapon, unless I also had a baseball glove and a baseball with it. So when you get into those situations,
so you have the association of sports, so it's not a weapon.
So that it's not a weapon, but of course I had it in the car because I needed it in case some psychopath that cut me off decided that he was going to play, Bravo guy now and come after me. So, there's situations here where it's important that we don't allow them to overextend their reach on us, because you start with the gun. And we all understand that it's a dangerous fucking thing, but you start with the gun, and then the next thing is the knife. And then the next thing is the baseball bat. And then the next thing is you can't hold a tree branch in an aggressive manner. And then,
And history hasn't lied when it comes to countries getting their guns taken away. What happens next?
Yeah, well, in any situation, you can go as far back as fucking, BC, when they first started coming out with swords and things like that, and you would go to a town and they would tell you can't come into the town with the sword. Now you got to decide, am I going into that fucking town or not? The westerns where they used to take your gun at the door, or there are situations, but then what do you do? So I was trying to come up with I know we're getting off music subject, but I was trying to come up with, what are some non-harmful solutions to that situation? Well, what about if you had if there was stricter borders between states, right? Like, just like you get on an airplane, you got to be scanned when you go on the airplane. Or what if you had to be scanned to go from Florida to Georgia, or Georgia to North Carolina, South Carolina, blah, blah, blah. But then now you're running into the invasion of privacy area. So, there's a lot of everybody wants the answer to be easy, but it's not easy.
Beauty of America is I could take off today and go to California and not be pulled over, be analyzed or scanned by anyone.
Correct.
It's like the freedom, that whole easy rider freedom thing.
Well, we expect that human nature can govern itself, except that the human population is growing at such an exponential rate that our populace is no longer a population that feels, to me, I don't think it's a population that has the moral ground anymore to police itself.
Well, when your mind is so occupied on making next month's rent.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that
when your mind is so occupied on all these things that you have to think about on a daily basis, it's just hard to do things, to be self-vigilant when it comes to everything, when it comes to, you're concentrating on this part of your life, so you're not going to concentrate on politics.
Yeah.
You're not going to pay attention on what bills are on the floor and things like that, as far as government goes. And it's like, when those things get to the wayside, it always gets tilted more towards people having power over you.
Yeah, you can't build a society without a hierarchy. It's not physically possible.
That's the bad thing about anarchy. You're gonna have your eyes open all the time.
All the time. Yeah. Right? That's why, there's the same thing with
be like the Purge, right?
being a king that could easily be replaced. Well, if you follow history, there were fucking princes that would kill their fathers just to become
power.
Yeah. It's an addicting and it's a powerful fucking thing, but whatever. That's why I don't normally I don't get into the politics thing, because the truth, we all individually, it doesn't even matter if you're two Republicans or if you're two Democrats or two people are not going to agree on everything.
Never.
So there are certain parts of it that of the conversations that I just won't have, just because nothing's going to change. Just because I have an opinion on something doesn't mean that it's the right opinion, doesn't mean it's the wrong opinion. It's just my opinion. And so it only pertains to me.
Right.
Doesn't pertain to you, doesn't pertain to anybody else, but I have just as much right as everybody else to express my opinion.
Yep.
Don't be offended by it. You live your fucking life. I live mine. I'm not, are we ever going to cross paths? No.
Yeah, I just wish people could accept others' point of view. Just because they don't agree with you doesn't mean you have to get this big uproar as if they're out to get you.
There's my father was an example for me of that. Is that my father was a born again Christian. Okay, so my dad was a New York City cop who, during his New York City copness, saw some horrible things. And my father's language was very racist, and he was like in the shit in New York. And I don't think when you're a cop in the shit in New York, you can be anything other than having a bit of bias in you, because you're seeing the garbage every day.
Right.
You're seeing the worst of things. So my father had this racism in him where, the N-word was not a no-no. You might have heard it every once in a while. Wasn't in his normal speaking, but you might have heard it every once in a while. Oh, this N-word at work, blah, 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 whatever, some shit, And then he became a born-again Christian, and he really, really applied it to his life, and he completely changed, and it got to the point where he was going to he was the one white guy in an all black gospel church, and he also, but being also born again, he felt that homosexuality was a sin, and he was also the type of a born again Christian that would invite a Jehovah's Witness into the house and try to convert them, one of those kind of guys. Yeah. And when he moved to Florida, he befriended a lesbian couple, and she ended up helping him build a deck for the house. And the two of them became like they would have these conversations, and I would have, my father would call from Florida to New York, and I would have, these monthly conversations with my dad, and I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, who the fuck are you?
Where'd this come from?
Yeah, during my life, calling a homosexual a faggot was not a horrible thing. Now all of a sudden he's building decks with lesbians and having nightly, having drinks over with couples night with gay couples and Christian, and I was like, holy shit. And I actually told the lady this story because it was amazing to see the transformation in somebody, because they got to just have a conversation.
Right. And get to know people.
Yeah. And that's the part of life that we miss. That's why I think people dig shit like Joe Rogan podcasts.
That's the part of the Christianity thing I don't get. I mean, I come from a very religious family, but when I see people act like, there's free will and there's also experiences in life. And hopefully you've taught your kids enough when they were young, that when they experience this, they have something to fall back to.
Right.
But it's like the heavy Christian right expects everybody to live a perfect life.
Right.
And not have any experiences. So are they a true believer if they don't have any experiences?
Well, see, I'm the
guy,
right,
or what I'm saying?
I'm the eternal pessimist.
Yeah.
And it's because you can bring me the holier than thou guy in the face of the planet, and I'm going to show you someone who's fucking stealing money.
Right.
Cheating on his wife on the side or some shit. Or,
That's why I call myself a diagnostic.
You're right.
I look at everything in schematic form, like it's details. I read how-to books. Those are my books. So it's like, I'm a diagnostic. to where it's like, there is a God and I'm not him. And it's like everything that everybody says about what God is, who God is, where God is, I always just break it down and look at every opinion around and just like a shuffle piece, you know, and like I form my general idea about what's wrong and right. Oh. And that doesn't make me God. I'm not making choice. I'm making choices based upon my experiences that God has presented in front of me.
Right.
That's the best way to explain.
And that are specific and particular to only you.
Yeah.
Like, people seem to think that that other people are thinking about others in a large scheme, like the I gotta be careful how much I say and what I say. There became a period in which I physically noticed how every new show on television had a very specific formula. A biracial couple, a trans person, and or a flamboyantly gay person on every fucking show, just like the same formula as a show in the 80s that had, you know,
constantly pushing acceptance because they want
of one single thing. Yeah, but I'm an individual. Like, I don't need you to force fucking anything on me.
Right.
And actually, when you start forcing things on me, that's when I start turning off.
Turning away. Same.
Immediately. Like, I will immediately turn off from something the minute I feel like I'm being forced in it, or the minute I think it becomes overly popular in the norm, I turn it off.
Right.
Because now I don't believe in I believe it's engineered at that point. When it's too mass, and I only say that because even the things that I do with Shovelhed are very engineered.
Right.
I engineer it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that a lot of our lives are engineered for us, and I don't know how the fuck we ever get away from that. You know, that follows me in music. And that's where I lose the luster and the lust for writing my own material.
What keeps me going is being able to capture moments. It's like every time you're on stage, you have another opportunity to influence a moment, either to make someone feel better or to inspire them, or those kind of things. It's like you're creating a moment. Like Beck's Brotherhood. You know, Mike's almost retired. You know, Tim's retired and enjoying the latter years of his life, and music keeps him going, you know. And it's every time we're on stage, I've told you about my issues, my heart issues, but every time we're on stage, we act as if it's the last time we're going to be on stage together.
Right.
You know, because we don't know what's going to happen. Someone's going to get in a wreck or whatever. And it's just about capturing the moments, as a unit, as a band, as friends, as a brotherhood.
Right.
And also drawing people into that this is special for us every time we get on stage.
Yeah.
That's really.
I think most of us feel that way. Most of us, I can't say that. I always felt that most of us felt that way. But then, you know, I don't know, over the years of bands, you know, I think you find those people.
That's why I like your conversations on your podcasts, your rants on Facebook.
Yeah.
Is because, you know, you're pushing the business side of an artistic field. You're pushing business. And it's like, at what point does the artistic nature go away? Like, I thought for sure when the MP3 started getting stolen and Napster and all that, I thought for sure it would improve music. And it did the exact opposite. My thought was, okay, so money's out of the situation, now people can truly create. But then you get to a point where people can't even afford to think for themselves, more or less create something for themselves, because they feel like they're behind the 8 ball with everything they do in life.
Yeah. Well, see, here's
there's no money, there's no backing the music. So it's like, at least when you were paying for it, you had people that would donate mansions to some promising musician in the 60s and 70s, and they would push.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
there'd be A&R reps.
You had to work for it. Okay, as a kid, if I wanted to listen to something that my parents didn't put on for me and or wasn't on a radio, right? I had to. We grew up in that society where, you know, you got $5 in fucking $5 a week in what do they call that? Can you give your kids for doing chores?
Allowance. Yeah.
Allowance, yeah. You know, I would clean the dog pens. My brother and I would clean the dog pens. You know, we literally earned our fucking our allowance money. But you get your allowance money, or you'd be 12 years old, fucking mowing lawns in the heat and the hot of Texas in order to make enough money. Or what I did was I bought my first 10-speed bike, and then I went up and down the highways collecting tin cans because you'd get money based on weight, and then I would go buy music.
I would turn in bottles, jars and jars of Scorpions.
Oh,
and I'd go snake hunting. I'd get rattlesnake tails and take them to the belt maker.
Right.
Cause that's
give you the cash.
Rosin those Scorpions.
Yeah,
they make money.
Every dollar I could figure out how to work to make, I would go towards buying records or tapes or CDs or fucking, you know, at that point I had every goddamn magazine subscription, you know, Hit Parader, Guitar World, fucking, Cream Magazine, Metal Edge, Riff Magazine, like all of them. So my room was postered from floor to fucking ceiling with everything that was surrounded around my life. And here's the fucked up part is, from a teenager to the adult that I am now, that aspect has never ever gone away from me, is that every band that I've had, if I had a rehearsal space, we designed it to be the clubhouse. So when you came to the fucking rehearsal space, it was just like your room when you were growing up as a kid, with fucking posters everywhere and your memorabilia and your things. They change over the years, but it never left my life. I still want to be surrounded by my music.
Right.
Not my music, but music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I wake up in the fucking morning. I put the music on the second I get up, you know. The only time the music is not on is when we're going to bed, you know, or if I'm doing some shit like this.
After a show and I'm just chilling and I'm going to listen to Joe Rogan and still.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. After a show, I don't listen to music.
Yeah.
I do listen to Rogan. Like, the beautiful part about the Rogan podcast is it being 3 hours. And if I am going from here to Tampa, it's a whole show.
He's a good interviewer too, man. He lets people speak their mind. He has conversations with them and doesn't try to pigeonhole them into like making them feel guilty.
Well, that's what I enjoyed about his podcasts was when I started doing this in like 2015, when I moved down here, I did not want to get involved with the music down here, and I just did podcasts and videos and shit like that. And what I liked about it, and everybody saw it differently, they wanted things to be scripted. Like, script everything you do, script this, script that, script. No, like, fuck that, man. People want to see real. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime you ever see something become successful, it's because people see a realness in it, or some way they identify with it.
As long as you know where to stand when the pyro goes off.
Yeah. That would happen to me. I'd blow my beard off, you know.
Yeah, Bastille, we had basically rented out a huge warehouse. I mean, Carpenter looked like it used to be a church, but it was a huge warehouse. And we had our own set props and we had light man, sound man rehearse the same time we did. And it's like all that going on, and we had other bands pay for it because we'd give them practice time here, practice time, video time on the big stage. You know, we'd find ways to sell that venue. So we were able to spend more time doing music.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, that's what made that a really, really good band. And we were able to do the full production and the pyro and all that. But we do small pyro. We do like, we'd make it concussive and we make it smoky. We wouldn't make it flare because we used fog lights. So we had it timed with the lights. Well, the lights would go up as if it's
the tribute band.
as if it's a bigger explosion than what it is.
All of their spark machines, they're all cold spark. It's cold spark. So there's and I didn't even know that was a fucking thing nowadays. Yeah. But there are ways. But again, here you go. Here comes the situation: is that we think in terms of the show. Yeah. I would love to be able to utilize the proper light show and lasers and smoke and but do it right. The problem with that
is that you need a storyboard. You need something.
You need an indoor facility.
You got to have a script for the lighting guy. You have to be in sync with the sound man. And if you had pyro was both.
And that takes man hours and equipment and all of the things that people don't ever think about when it comes to the price of a ticket. Like, when, everyone down here, like cover charges, anytime you ever bring that up, it becomes a sore subject. However, it depends on how the cover charges work. If the cover charge is doing what it's supposed to be doing, then the venue is investing in the experience.
Right.
If it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then the venue is just pocketing the money. And then what ends up happening is that the attendance of the place will shut the place fucking down, and that'll be the reason why they went out of business. But the ones that actually say if you had a $5 cover to get into most of these fucking places, and they were able to utilize that on, every place having some kind of an LCD screen, every place having their own sound guy and own sound system that is specific to the environment for which they have created their venue, then we can all start thinking about an experience, you know. But even think about going to a festival. You go to a festival around here that calls and hires bands, they do the same thing that every other festival does. It's just the same stage, same sound guys, but nothing more
just
to the show.
Just a very generic rig.
Yeah, and that's not...
It's essentially the same as podium up, podium down.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you didn't have any discussion with the band as far as putting a show together. Right. You just hired a band to come up and play some songs for you for the night on a giant stage with a giant sound system. 9 times out of 10, you don't even know who the fucking sound guy is. And then when you do know the sound guy, it doesn't matter if you send him a set list, because he's just going to do a generic sound job. He's not going to do a show job where he would now somebody's going to get offended to that too.
Well, there's some people whose disciplines are different. If you have a soundman who's disciplined to a rock show, he knows these days, he knows where to tap tempo.
Correct.
Delay, mute, delay on, those kind of things. Those are natural things that a really good sound
guy is going to know.
Yeah. A la Thomas Gaynor.
Well, yeah, right. Here's the thing that drives me fucking crazy on that is the middle section to Rebel Yell, where
the mellow part,
the build, right, where it's supposed to have the delay,
the most magical part of the song.
Yeah, it's supposed to have this fucking delay in there that repeats the word. And yeah. And if there's no fucking sound guy, it never happens.
Yeah.
And then there'll be the singer just singing the song twice instead of actually putting the delay in the song.
Yeah, I'll do different references. Like I'll say soul longer, or just put more expression.
Yeah. I just sing it the thing is, Patrick makes us make it our own.
Yeah, you're good at it. You're very good at making everything your
everything. But that comes from, I don't know where that comes from. It just I think a lot of that has to do with my own laziness. Because if I was a more regimented musician, I would learn the songs more properly than...
I'll do that. I mean, I'll learn it their way.
Yeah.
I'll learn it their way on the album. I'll study them for how they did it live compared to how they did it in the studio. And that's what I really try to get across to all my cover guys is, we don't have to do it exactly like the record because they don't do it exactly like the record. And I could show you 5 different concerts to where Nazareth did something 5 different ways.
6, 10 different ways. Yeah. And that's what I say is that actually this is my learning process. I let the band learn the song first.
Yeah.
Because I will learn the basic melody of the song, and then I will go in and sing the song how I would have sang it.
Right.
With the way my guys play it, because they're not playing the song just like the record. Right. They're playing it to the best of their individual abilities.
You keep the essence of the song.
Right.
And you ask yourself, how am I going to sing it? Or how would I sing it? How would I like best to sing it?
Right.
You know? And that takes time and practice on your own. It's like, that's the individual practice.
It's the study of the individual singer.
I'm putting together that song. Okay, now I can do it like the album. Okay, I like what he does there live, and then it's just shut everything off.
I can't do that. That's what the weed does for me.
And just sing it. Just sing it. And if I'm doing acoustic, it's just sing it and play it. Sing it and play it until it's yours.
Yeah.
And just do it to the back, to the point of like, okay, people know that's Kevin Beck when it's a song.
Right. Right.
He's not being Bob Seger.
Or my favorite is when somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, I heard there was for a little while there we were doing Firewoman from the Cult, and I would get shit ton of people that would say, I heard it on the radio the other day and it's just not right." And I'm like, holy shit, like that's fucking awesome.
I feel that way when Beck's Brotherhood does the Jet tunes, the Cold Hard Bitch. And
Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Yeah, we do those. And it's like I listen to them live, and it's like, you do that shit better than
Yeah, don't you like that? Like when you listen back to your band and it's totally on fire.
I really don't want to pat myself on the back like that, but at the same time, listen, it's like, those guys wrote it.
Yeah. No, see, because I record everything. Like, if you're at a Shovelhed gig or an Eat Crow gig, there's a 99.9% chance there's a video camera somewhere in the audience taping the thing for me. And the next day I want to relive the night. And then I find my mistakes so that I can correct them. But then there are those magical moments that I can't not. And I'm like, thank God.
It was this last show at Square Grouper, it's like, went over to Mike's house. His wife videotapes everything, whether we keep it or don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just there and enjoying some mixed drinks in the pool and watching the LCD screen. And it's like, we're sitting there nitpicking at ourselves. My voice was rough that night. And then the second set comes along. That younger crowd comes in and we attack the set list just right.
Right.
To where the peak and the demand and enough room for requests and things like that. It's just that whole second set, just everything landed right.
Yeah. That's my favorite set of the night. The second set. The second set is so much so that I would love to be able to stop doing these 3-hour gig things and do a 2-hour straight show.
Yeah.
Cause the energy that you can build without having to break.
That's what I like about Dell's shows. We do these, I come from the world, my favorite people were people that gave me my money's worth. If I go to a concert and they put on a 4-hour show, 5-hour show,
So that was a rarity.
Kansas did that. Jay Giles put on a 5-hour show, I heard,
for a $20
never
ticket.
saw Bruce play, but he was famous for the long show,
Yeah.
But it's like, those are the kind of people, and I see them sweating on stage, and it's like, that's why, that's why I say I like to sweat on stage, because I want to feel like I'm giving the crowd something to.
Yeah, but by the 38th song in the night, I'm like, fuck me, man. Like I got,
I have to tell myself when to quit, because if I don't put a time on
Patrick
myself,
forces us to stop. Patrick's thing is this, it's way brutal on him to do that for 3 fucking hours. And when it gets to the last song of the night, he's done. Like literally done.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be like, one more song. And you're like, fuck me. I just played for 4 hours, guy. Like one more song. I get it. I love you, but no, and he's a hard no. He does not want to play anymore. And I get that, and it saved me because I know on the last song,
leave him one or more.
I got no more left.
Right.
Especially if I've had like 3 or 4 of these. Fuck, man. It's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah, I can't be stoned and play loud, man. I save it for afterwards.
Do you?
Yeah, I gotta have a sharp mind. I don't want to be forgetting the lyrics. I don't have a tablet in front of me.
No, I like making up my own fucking lyrics.
Me too. I mean, it's like, depending on the moment, it's like you can make up, you keeping the essence and the spirit of the song. Now you can communicate it in different ways and still get the same point.
It's how I've been able to do on occasion. I will throw like a female song into something and I'll change the lyrics to make it male centric.
Yeah.
So, it allows me to stretch my bounds as a singer to be able to know that, because male singing and female singing are two completely different fucking animals that all together. And that is my challenge. Like, I will find fucking songs that I have to work really hard to break, to make before I'll sing it and be satisfied with myself.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. It does. It takes a lot for me to be happy with me.
Yeah, it drives Kathy nuts because she'll see me practicing at home. She'll be expecting me to do what I practice. Why didn't you play that? It's not ready yet.
Yeah, right. Or
it's not ready.
Or Meg will say to me, she's like, "How come you don't sing around the house like you sing at your gigs?" And I'm like, "It's a different fucking animal, Like more when I'm writing a song, when I'm listening or figuring out a song, I'm getting the groove down, I'm getting the tonalities down, the breathing down, putting the math into it. And
it's like if someone's around, you don't want to put their 2 cents in before you ever done any development.
Every fucking wife and every girlfriend does. You say you don't, but every fucking one of you does.
Yeah. I'm going to try it this way, that way, 10 ways to Sunday.
Yeah.
I put myself in scenarios, if I draw a blank, what would I say in this verse? I practice those things. Those are practice. They're not pretended.
Right.
There's something about improv. Real improvisational players practice to be prepared to improv.
I think I got that ginormous mirror right there.
Right.
This is my rehearsal space.
But that improvisational spirit, I still screw up a bass solo. It's like I never have a written out bass solo.
Right.
Someone puts you on the spot, you have to work on the fly. Yeah. I'm not thinking about scales. I'm not thinking about intervals. I'm thinking about groove.
The hard way.
And I just don't lose the groove.
It was blues when I got out of metal and I started listening to blues and blues based music. That was where I got forced into positions to improvise, because if you don't,
it just sounds like the last person.
Exactly. It's the same roundabout. It's the same 12 bars. It's the same, it's the same vocal style, the same sound. So if you didn't fucking learn to how to improvise, and that put me in other places. Well, it was also songwriting with other guys. Like my Soul Shake band, we used to write together in a warehouse. Like, we had this big rehearsal space and we would rehearse like literally for 6 or 7 fucking hours each rehearsal, and we rehearsed 3 times a week on top of gigs. Mm-hmm. We'd go in and we would just fuck with a riff for an hour and a half, until it sparked the next part of the song.
Yeah.
Or put a vocal melody in, or a different drum beat, or somebody came up with a different part, or we were melding. Like, that was the love of it. I wish I had time to do that shit now. More patience, actually.
My band was originally The Living Room, but it was also called Happy Jackass for original project. They would go out and call ourselves something else for a cover band. But we had the advantage. Jeff owned his house, invited everyone to live there for rent. And, I lived up in the attic. We all lived together. We had our jobs, but, we had a lot more time to play together, and everything outside of work was 24/7 music.
Music, yeah.
And so how we did it is everyone get in from work. We'd pass around a bong swat, and then we'd put on the headphones. Dinner's out of the way. We're putting on our headphones. We'll press and record on 16 track, and we just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
and our singer, God rest his soul, John Rickards, you know, he didn't always have lyrics. He would just come up with melody ideas with all just noise, scat them out, you know, and then we'd go back and we'd press play on the playback, passing swats, marking, oh, I like that groove. I like that groove. I like that groove. And then I'd take his melodies and I'd write lyrics to it. Like, sing that to that melody. You know, and we'd do that. And that's how we built and arranged songs. And we had 30 songs written in a 3-month period.
Yeah. You know? We did that too. I mean, this is going back now to 98 is when I put that band together. But it was one of those, in order to be able to play the original songs, we went out and played all covers. Mm-hmm. And then what we did was, after the first 6 or 7 months, we just started putting the original songs in with the covers. Yeah. And if I was doing 40 songs a night, 10 of them were going to be originals. You know, and then it got to 50% of the songs were going to be originals. And then, you know, then it got to, now I'm selling 50 or 60 CDs per fucking gig. And, you know, now you can't find a CD player in somebody's house. It's almost impossible. You know? So, you know, then they were trying for a little while there to be able to sell like, thumb drives.
Trying to bring cassettes back too. It's like,
yeah, good luck. There's no way. The music industry is so fucked that the only true way for me as a guy now that spent 40 years in the business end of it as well is to just do it for my own love of doing it and not care about anybody else hearing it.
I ain't getting signed tomorrow.
That's it.
I do it because I love it, you know.
I knew that in when I turned 40, I would never getting signed. Yeah. You know, it was just going to stay with the indie level type of shit, and I was never going to get fucking.
That's not a give up statement. That's kind
of. It's a realist. I'm a realist.
It's a realist, and it's empowering for me because I'm doing it for the absolute love of it, and that way I can always have a smile on my face. I have peace of mind. Yeah, you know.
Well, see,
I just want to be able to take care of the things around me when I do it. You know, well, the affordability. You know,
when my fucking AC goes down and it costs me $600 like it did last Tuesday, I want to have that money in the account. Right. What I love about having that money in the account is that music put it there. Mm-hmm. And so that's why the two, for me, are always one. It's always one. Music and business are the same, and it's just because I've spent my entire life it's the analogy of going uphill the whole time. You know, the whole time that you are an artist or a musician, it's an uphill battle, because even when you're at the top, there's a struggle to stay there. Yeah. And maintain that. You know, there's not a single artist on the face of the planet that has ever had a top 10 or a number 1 fucking song that has ever got there and said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to walk away.
Tell me all those dirty, dirty secrets.